All right, today we're going to be doing lecture 20, slope-intercept form. So last time we met, we talked about x-intercepts and y-intercepts, and we talked about standard form. And we learned that there are 3 different ways that you can write the equation of a line. The first one is called standard form, and we did that last week. Standard form is ax plus by is equal to c, where a, b, and c are all going to be whole numbers. And then we talked about slope-intercept form. That's the one that we're going to be concentrating on today. Slope-intercept form. So the reason why we call it that is because we need to know what the slope is and what the y-intercept is. The way we write this is going to be y equals mx plus b. Make sure that everything is lowercase for this one. Now, y and x, those are both going to be variables as usual. And m is going to stand for the slope of the line. So m is going to be the slope. And b is going to be the y-intercept. The y-intercept. So we know that slope is usually given to us by the equation y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're always subtracting the y values on top and the x values on the bottom. So the slope-intercept form is going to be y equals mx plus b. That's what we're going to be looking at today. M and b are both going to be numbers. So m and b are both numbers. Those are the only two that are going to be numbers because x and y are just going to be x and y. They are variables. So I'll write that down too. X and y are variables. The x value and the y value. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be writing the slope-intercept form of equations given a slope and a y-intercept. Okay. So let's say our slope is 3. So our slope is going to equal 3. And our y-intercept is going to be 4. And what we want to do is we want to write an equation y equals mx plus b. That's our slope-intercept form. So all we need to know is what m is and what b is. Our slope, or our m, is going to be 3. So in place of this m right here, I'm going to put a 3. Then I'm going to put down my x, and then a plus sign in the middle. And our y-intercept, also known as b, is going to be 4 for this one. So I get y equals 3x plus 4. So we're always putting the slope beside the x. We're multiplying 3 by x. And then we always add the y-intercept off to the side. So that's why I have y equals 3x plus 4. Let's try another one like that. Let's say our slope is negative 1/5. And our y-intercept is negative 2. So for this one, our m value is going to be -1/5. So I'll write m above slope. So when I do my equation, it's going to be y equals mx plus b. Our m is going to be -1/5. So I'm going to write -1/5 x plus -2, which is the same thing as -2. So I'm going to write my y-intercept as -2. So I get y equals -1/5 x minus 2. So let's graph that and see what it looks like. I'm going to go over to Desmos, and I'm going to get rid of this stuff. And I'm going to type in the equation of that line that we just wrote down. Y equals -1/5 x minus 2. And when we type that in, we get this purple line. Notice how it crosses the y-axis at -2 at this point right here. That's known as our y-intercept, right? So we know that our y-intercept is going to be -2. And what's the slope of the line going to be? It's going to be -1/5. So what you'll notice as we go from left to right, the function is going down. The line is sloping downwards. That's why our slope is a negative number. But if our slope was a positive number, like the first one that we did, the line would be sloping upwards. So let's take a look at that one. Our equation was y equals 3x plus 4. That's the first one that we did. So let's graph that one. So in the box, I'm going to type in y equals 3x plus 4. And I get this black line right here. Notice that it crosses the y-axis at 4. That's my y-intercept. That's where the line is going to cross the y-axis. And then our x-intercept, we can click on it down here. That's going to be -4/3. That's where it crosses the x-axis, -1.333, repeating. And then what's the slope of the line going to be? The slope of the line is +3, because that's the number that's in front of this x right here. So because our slope is positive, the line is going up as you go from left to right. So that's what that looks like if you graph it. Okay, so heading back to our slides right here, what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be going back and forth between standard form and slope-intercept form. So what we want to do now is we want to write the slope-intercept form. We want to write the slope-intercept form of the equation of each line. Okay, let's look at number 1 on the problem set. So number 1 says 2x plus y is equal to -1. So the line that it gives us in the first place is going to be standard form. Standard form. And you can tell it's in standard form because it has that ax plus by is equal to c. It's got that kind of form to it. X and y are on the same side. But what I want to do is I want to put it in slope-intercept form. And slope-intercept form is always going to be y equals mx plus b. So to go from standard form to slope-intercept form, all I have to do is get y by itself on the left side. So I need to isolate y on the left side. Okay, so I need to get y by itself. How could I do that? I want to get this y by itself right here. And that means I need to get rid of this 2x right here. Now it is a positive 2x, so how could I get rid of a positive 2x? I need to subtract 2x from both sides. So I'm going to subtract 2x on the left side, and I'm going to subtract it on the right side. So when I do that, the 2x and the minus 2x are going to cancel out on the left side. So I can cross these out. And I'm only left with a y on the left side. But on the right side, that's where everything else is going to show up. I'm going to have a negative 2x minus 1. And now my line is in slope-intercept form. So once you have y by itself, you're done. You don't need to do anything else. So check out the slope-intercept form. What is our slope for this line? Our slope is going to be negative 2. And what is our y-intercept? That's going to be negative 1. So that's where the line is going to cross the y-axis at negative 1. So that's how you go from standard form to slope-intercept form. All you're trying to do is get y by itself on the left-hand side. Okay, let's try number 2. Number 2 is 10x minus y is equal to negative 6. So this line is starting off in standard form. Ax plus by is equal to c. And what I want to do is I want to take that standard form and change it to slope-intercept form. So I need to get y by itself. So I'm going to start off by getting rid of the 10x. And I can do that by subtracting 10x from both sides. So I'm going to subtract 10x from both sides. What that's going to do is it's going to get rid of the 10x on the left-hand side. So these two terms are going to cross out, only leaving me with a negative y. And then on the other side, I always write the x term first. So I'm going to have negative 10x minus 6. But I'm not done yet, because I need to get rid of one more thing. And that one more thing is going to be this negative sign out in front. I need to get rid of that negative sign so that the y can be by itself on the left side. So how can I do that? to get rid of the negative sign, I need to divide both sides by -1. So I'm going to divide this side by -1, and I'm going to divide everything on the right side by a -1. So this and this. So when I do that, the negatives are going to cancel out, leaving me with a positive y. And then on the other side, I have -10 x divided by -1. That's going to be a positive 10x. And then I have a -6, which is -6, divided by -1. That's going to be a positive 6. And I'm done. Now we're in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So the slope of this line is going to be the number out in front of the x. That's going to be 10. That's the slope. And then my y-intercept is always going to be the number that's added off to the side. That's going to be 6. So that means that when I graph this line, it's going to cross the y-axis at +6. Okay, let's do one more that's going to involve fractions. I want to look at number 3. Number 3 says 7x minus 15y is equal to 11. So starting off, this is in standard form, right? ax plus by is equal to c. But I want to take it and put it in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So that means I need to find some way to get y by itself on the left side. The first thing I need to get rid of is the positive 7x. And I can do that by subtracting 7x from both sides. So when I subtract 7x, that's going to cancel out the 7x on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to cross both of those out, leaving me with a -15y. On the other side, that -7x is going to pop up with the positive 11. So now there's one more thing that I need to do to get y by itself. I need to get rid of the -15 that's out in front. So how could I do that? I would have to divide both sides by the -15. So I'm going to divide this side by -15, and I'm going to divide every term on this side by -15. So I'm going to divide this one by -15, but I'm also going to divide the 11 by -15. So what that's going to do is it's going to cancel out the -15s on the left-hand side, leaving me with just a y. That's what I wanted, right? On the other side, I have -7x divided by -15. I know that I'm going to get a fraction from this that's not going to be able to reduce down, but the negatives are going to cross out, and that's just going to leave me with a +7/15 times x. And then over here, my y-intercept is actually going to be a negative number. I know that because I have a +11 divided by a -15, and that's going to give me -11/15. And that's my answer. Now it's in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So the slope is going to be this fraction right here, 7/15. And then my y-intercept is going to be a negative 11/15. Okay, that's all I have today. Class dismissed. If you have any questions, you can put them down in the chat box. I'll answer those before I leave. Now go ahead and try the classwork. It's going to be 10 questions. And on Wednesday, we'll take a look at how to write equations from a graph.